Good evening. We are live and I'm going to be calling the meeting to order for the 2023 State Fair Community College Board of Trustees meeting. I would entertain a motion for approval of the agenda.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Good evening.
In stereo.
Do we have any citizens comments?
We do not.
Okay. All right, looks like we have introduction of new employees. We always enjoy having this opportunity to meet those who are coming on board.
So I'm the lucky one. I have all new employees under mine. And so our first one is John Kincaid. Go ahead and John. He's a transplant from Beckley, West Virginia. He got here via the Air Force, being an aerospace propulsion mechanic. That's where he started his time doing the precision measurement instruments. And so I can fill in. He's our precision machining instructor. So he's an additional one. I apologize. And so John, he's got not only his time with the Air Force, he's graduate of State Fairs program in precision machining. He's also completed an apprenticeship program that we're part of. His time with Black & Decker, Pro Energy, been an adjunct for us for a year. And we decided, as we were kind of talking before this meeting, we're adding another precision machining to allow us to expand our abilities with our college and dual credit offerings that we'll talk even more about a little bit later. I think you'll see how that fits together, but that's John.
Welcome, John.
Thank you all. Now, our second one's Kim Tagmeyer. Did I get that right? Kim?
Yes.
Kim's a little less, giving when I'm looking for stuff, but you all know her. She's from here, family's from here, been around, but again, she's the executive administrative assistant over at the Career Technical Center. So we're very happy to get her. And I can tell you she's doing a great job because one, Eric's happy. He knows Eric Ranger. He's on vacation and not worried about things. I have not heard from him. And so she's doing an excellent job. That is how we assess. Over there.
Well, welcome.
We stole her from Smithton. Yeah, she was 10 years with special ed as administration, doing very similar skill sets. So we're excited.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
And then behind you on screen is Laura Hathcock. Laura has been an employee of ours, but she's currently the assistant director, promoted to assistant director of the Clinton campus. She's an alum of State Fair, attended classes at the Clinton campus in 2012. 2017, she was a work study. She's tutored. She graduated in 2018 and continued working for us part-time, and then continues to take on more responsibilities, now full-time over there helping Dara at Clinton.
Welcome, Laura.
Thank you all. Anything?
That's it. Thank you very much. Appreciate you all coming.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you all. Yeah. I'll pass that.
All right, moving on in our agenda, it's time for approval of the minutes for the September 28th, 2023 meeting. Those were all sent out and they are in our packets. I would entertain a motion to approve.
Approved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, same sign. Okay, looks like we're ready for the warrant for September 2023. Keith?
You all have in your packet the disbursements for the month of September 2023, so I'll go through them in detail. But disbursements for the month of September were $4,117,461. Of particular note, there was a payment to Westport for the Stockford dining renovation of $239,942. We're down now simply to finish the punch list and giving and paying out the retainage, so that project is wrapped up. So that's disbursements for the month of September.
The retainer will be the final payment.
Yes, it will be the retainage. The retainage with a 5% retainage as we go through will be, and I know the punch list is all done. They've been checked out, so we'll see that showing up next month.
So move pay.
All right, do I have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All same sign. Okay, so always glad to have our student government give a report. And so.
So I have a goal that I would like to actually give the students that are part of the different organizations and clubs a voice in these meetings. So I have offered them the opportunity to come and speak. Maybe one or two every month in different clubs and organizations. And so this month we actually have Megan McClellan from the art club. And we'll have more students and their instructors and everything coming in the future. But on this, I thought this was just a good way for them to kind of talk about what they do, anything they're working on, and kind of get their voices heard. So I think Megan.
Hi. All right, so I brought some stuff for Art Club for you guys, so you can pass these around. These are our pamphlets. It gives you kind of our fall events that we've been doing. And if you are so curious, I've shrunk down our flyers so that you could take a look at these. Their QR codes actually include, so for instance, the pumpkin contest, that one you can see all the pumpkins that our students did. So if you wanted to see what they were, you can go and snap that and see what it looks like. So the things that we actually have planned, we did our pumpkin painting contest, and those will be announced on the 30th of this month, and they will be winning a $50 gift card. And we had a QR code that went across campus, so we had a total of 104 responses. So that was quite a fantastic turnout. Yeah, absolutely. And we had about 30 pumpkins that were painted for that space there. And then our other events that we're going to be having are our handmade gift wrapping paper. So we'll start actually making those in November, and then we will use those for a fundraiser in December. So on December 8th, we will be selling those to anybody who would like to purchase them. And the fundraiser, all the money that's earned for that will be used to take the students to Kansas City to go to the Nelson Atkins Museum. Our final event is going to be actually a coloring book. So we are opening that to all students on campus. They can scan that QR code that's being passed around and submit their design, so that in December, we will compile and bind all of those coloring pages to then distribute across campus and use for fundraiser as well. So that is what our club is all about. Thank you very much.
How many students?
How many members? We've got about 20 members, but the goal for our club and what our students, so each year our students actually, we give them the idea of what they want to do. So last academic year, we filled it with tutorials or with artist workshops. So for instance, the image that you have in the brochure is Paul Allen. He came and he did some workshops. We also had 4 other visiting artists come last year. This year, the students we had a whole new group come in. And they wanted to do things that were more activity-based, and they wanted to involve more of the community, more of the other students on campus. So while we have 20 members, their goal is to really try and include everybody that they can, or at least have one person come new and kind of expose them to art in a new way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was Megan from the art club. So as you can see, I feel like that's just a good way for these different clubs and organizations to kind of come forward. They can talk about what they're doing, any fundraisers they're doing, and kind of just keep you guys updated as long as working with the community. SGA themselves, we are currently working on some of our holiday activities right now. With for November, we are looking into delivering sweets and possibly meals to the first responders around town for Thanksgiving. We would do that the day before Thanksgiving. So that was just something we figured would be nice. And then we are also looking at doing adopt a family for Christmas, or just the holiday season in general. It was something we did last year and it went really well. So that's something that we're going to try and do again this year. So all I have for you guys today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Cameron.
So now institutional reports.
So continuing our series of reports on our extended campuses, we have in person today the director of our Lake of the Ozarks campus, Tabitha Thompson.
Hey, thank you for the opportunity to come, and yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. Appreciate it. Really messed something up already. Look at that. Okay, is there a way to do present here? At least am I missing it? Sorry, I'm such a Google user anymore. I forget this one right here.
To your left, up left.
Not this one.
No,
Oh,
you can. It's faster.
Here.
Here.
you just wanna, yeah, just like it.
We're at
That'd be
five.
great.
Mouse to
F5
go
on the
right
keyboard. Ah, there you go. Okay, great. Quick. So I will keep this as brief as possible because there are lots of things that I could brag about our campus, especially the people who work there every day. And so I could not do the things that I do without Don Hines and Amy King, who are our other full-time employees on campus. And so they allow me the opportunity, as you're going to see, to get out in the community a lot and to be at events that I would not be able to go and attend if I didn't have those ladies there to hold down the fort when I'm away. So this is a quick look at our enrollment over the last few terms. So I have been there since last July, so just a little over a year. During this time, we have really had a main focus goal of trying to reach our community, making sure that they know that we're there, making sure they understand what we have to offer, but also our hope is to grow enrollment. One of the things that is unique about Lake of the Ozark community is that we are a tourist industry. And so during the summer is when, you know, people flock to the Lake of the Ozarks, which means that students in our area have a unique opportunity to go to work and make a lot of money, whether that's waiting tables, you know, providing some sort of service, waiting on gas docks, things like that. So this year, we actually had no students who wanted to attend on our campus during the summer. However, we grew in enrollment in summer, both credit hours and head count, by being able to offer online. And so we're really trying to think about how is it that we can meet the community needs where they are. And if their need isn't to come and put themselves in a seat on our campus, how can we grow then even more of those opportunities to do those online classes? So we'll continue to explore that as we move forward. Like I said, we do have the 3 full-time positions on our campus. We do not have any full-time faculty positions. And then we have 1 part-time staff who works 4 hours, 4 days a week to come in and try to do maintenance, custodial work, and security. And so that's a big job. If you've been to Lake of the Ozark campus, you know how much space he's taking care of. All right. Recruiting events. As you look through this, you'll see several different times that we've been out into area schools. We have been to several nights at School of the Osage community, whether it's attending a football game and they have tables set up and allow us to meet with students and families as they come in, or their back to school nights. We've also done several things at Camden High School, including their fairs. We have done advisory periods during the day. We've gone in, allowed students to come in and visit. Cody Goldman has made a couple of visits down. He went with us to Camden and to Eldon at the same kind of informational presentation. We have done a few things outside of our area, because one thing I'm a big believer in is that we are not a silo of Lake of the Ozarks. We are State Fair Community College. We're a piece of the puzzle. We won't work alone. And so even though Bolivar, really probably students aren't going to drive an hour to come to our Lake of the Ozark campus, they might come here. And so I'm close enough that I can fill a need and be able to go down and serve as an admission, or I'm sorry, as a recruitment tool, and hopefully talk to students who wouldn't normally get to hear about State Fair Community College. And in fact, I was so interested the day that I was at Bolivar, how many stopped and said, I didn't even know you existed. Okay, well, let's talk about that. Let's show you what we have to offer, which was really great. I did get to be a part of LTTC signing day, so that's our Lake Career Technical Center. And then we have a close working relationship with Max Creek School District. And I actually, we go in, Amy and I have been in a few times, and we will sit down with all their dual credit students and help them select classes. And we have found that's a great return, and they want to come onto campus because they know us and they trust us and they want to come do school with us. Times that we've been out in the community, I have a list here and I won't read them all, but I do serve on the LCTC advisory board. I am secretary of our Lake Ozark Regional Economic Development Council. We also volunteer with several things that the chamber has going on. So we did Biking Across America, volunteered at Share the Harvest. Our MEA students are good about getting out and helping. They did a cardiovascular screening at the lake area. And so we try to get involved when we can. We go to the Lake of the Ozarks Idiot Club fundraiser. I know everybody loves that name, the Idiots Club, but they do so many wonderful things, including helping pay for dual credit for students who cannot afford it. So. A transition fair is a big event for our campus. So last March, we hosted and we plan to host again this coming April. Camden School District actually puts it on, but they invite 7 area schools to attend. These are students who all have some sort of a special need, an IEP, a 504. They're going to need some extra support to be able to make college a reality, but they can come to our campus. We have vendors set up. We have informational meetings for them and their parents. We provide the pizza for them for lunch, and they get to go through and learn about what hurdles are there going to be for pursuing college and how we can help them with that. So it was a really great event. We loved having all these schools on campus last spring, and we're looking forward to doing it again this year. We have had Camden High School. We have a great partnership with them. So, which I guess I should say out loud in the room, you know, I am married to the high school principal at Camden, so I do have a foot in the door that way. But specifically their Horizons, so their alternative school. This is a group of students who don't always know that college is a reality for them. And so we've been able to bring groups of students on our campus several times throughout last year and already have plans for this year, where they got hands-on learning experience in our MBA program. They got to do campus tours. We were able to visit with them one-on-one. And this was it was a highlight of our year last year to be able to do that. And hopefully, as we continue to do this and grow it and meet with more and more students, we have offered this to other area schools, and hopefully they take us up on it soon. We did try a new partnership this year with dual credit. So we have offered for School of the Osage students to come to our campus and seek classes on our campus, which is exciting. We have about 5 students that took advantage of it in this very first fall semester. We are hoping to grow that. I just had conversation with the high school principal and their counselors, and we are looking at ways to invite more students in, and hopefully we can grow that and use it as a recruitment tool to show them what State Fair has to offer and how we can help with their future education goals. Campus life. So we're small, but we're mighty. And so we try to do things that encourage students to come onto campus and stay on campus when they're there. We do welcome tables and grab and go breakfast. We try to reach out and appreciate our adjunct instructors. They're becoming harder and harder to find. So we definitely want to take care of the ones that we have. We had a group of students come to us and say, can we have a pajama party on campus and do Polar Express night? If a room full of college students wants to do Polar Express night in their pajamas on campus, absolutely, I will show up and provide the hot chocolate. So we did that, but we also did a major upgrade. Oh, I won't get to that one yet, I'm sorry. You'll see in a second. We did a major upgrade to our campus students commons, and that is a great place that they now come and congregate every day. So we're really excited about that. We did have a couple of students who were recognized last year. Cody Osborne Neal is a medical assisting student, and he actually spoke to the WARDEC Roundtable Summit last spring, and we were really proud to have him do that. There was about 90 community members who got to hear the great things that he was able to do by attending State Fair Community College. And then Matt Ford Realty, he is a great advocate in our community. He actually reached out and wanted to know if he could start highlighting some of our students to just share with the community that there's great things happening beyond just our high schools, and that our area community college is also having some really great success stories among our students. So that was exciting. There's our student commons facelift. We actually got a couple of new couches, new vending machines, and I don't have a picture, but Dr. Bates was kind enough to help us out and provide a new TV for our space as well, which is also allowed for faculty meetings to happen in one space whenever we get together, which is great. Last spring, art returned to LOZ. We were so excited to have the opportunity to have art again. Students love this. It truly created a community on campus. Unfortunately, 2 weeks before the fall semester, we lost our art instructor. So we are again looking to find one, but we also visit with Megan about maybe some virtual opportunities that may present themselves down the road, but we are going to look for ways to keep art at LOZ if at all possible, because this was really good for students. And they were so proud that in the spring that they had art on display in the art show here at the Sedalia campus. So that is just a little bit about what's going on with us. We truly are just trying to be a help to our community, make sure our community knows that we exist and figure out how we can best serve them.
Well, I will say Tabitha has incredible energy and creativity and is truly out in the community active, as you can see, in so many ways. So we're so privileged to have somebody so creative that she went out and married the largest schools. principal.
Anything to get.
Anything.
Hey, she recruit him to come work for us.
That's awesome. So, we have a great leader at our Lake campus, and I feel confident that our campus is going to continue to grow and keep the community. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you. I appreciate your support. Thank you all.
Any questions?
One question is, have you might be able to answer this, Brad or Dr. Bates. One of the first things you said at the beginning of it is that Lake of the Ozarks it's a tourist community. So that had me thinking, with Boonville, with Sedalia and Pettis County, we're more of a manufacturing heavy area. And so we really try to promote Yale and Howard, and we really try to promote workforce development. For these different sites, do we highlight different programs to really market into that area? And if so, what's one of the programs that we try to highlight and market to attract to the Lake of the Ozark area?
You want to help you with that? So, I mean, I would say our medical programs that we have down there are part of that. So every region needs strong medical teams. We have the nursing program, we have medical assisting, and those are the two main programs, right?
Yeah. Our hospital is our large, so even though we are a tourist industry, our hospital is our largest employer, and then followed up by campus and school districts. And then we start looking at all of our local areas. So something else I think we do is we provide that opportunity for a business degree, and have even partnered up students with people in the community as they work through that degree. But I love what you said about going out and it really had me thinking about going into restaurants, because I've took a phone call last week about, do we offer any culinary? So, hey, I am open to ideas and think that there may be future opportunities for us to consider in our industry.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Also, to the end on the business, we haven't expanded our small business development center to the lake. So now we have full-time business counselor down there working with startups and entrepreneurs. So that's a huge business down there.
Any other questions?
All right.
Thank you all.
All right, so now it looks like on our agenda next is the Pettis County Ambulance District West Station proposal.
So I'd like to introduce the new chief of the Pettis County Ambulance District, Roy Pennington. And so before we give the presentation, we'd like to congratulate you on the new position, and we look forward to working with you and your staff as you provide leadership in that role. So
It's very exciting. I appreciate it very much.
thank you very much. And if you want to introduce your board members that are with you.
So right here we got our vice chairman, it's Michael Brown. We got our chairman, Nick Gerke, and then our board member, Tim Graves, here on the very end. Then I'm Roy. I got a paper handout of the PowerPoint. That way, if you guys want to reference it back later on, you can.
Yes.
Well, I appreciate you guys taking a moment to hear from us tonight. It's something that we've been working on for quite a few years. We try to get a station built over a little western of here to help provide ambulance coverage to this end of town. Over the past 10 years, call volume has increased pretty significantly over here. We've got a lot of growth. State continues to expand to the west and the southwest. Calls over here right now are currently served out of our Station 1, which is located downtown in Fort Kentucky. Calls over to the Walnut Hills area, south of there, down towards B Highway. You're looking at sometimes 17-minute response, and on time of day, traffic, things like that. We want to try to shorten that, but that's pretty significant for no further away than we actually really are as growth wise. The building of Station 3 will close that gap. which would be out here, on 16th Street is what we're hoping for. As we look at calls and the way they trend, over the past several years, it's honestly almost 50-50. It used to be years ago, most of our calls ranged from eastern, central Sedalia area, not really a whole lot out here. Maybe some of the nursing homes. But this area's grown up enough now to where we are seeing a significant increase in call volume. So this is the 2022 heat map. All the little red dots you see are high frequency of calls. So it's the pink line. I know it's kind of hard to see on the screen there. That's going to be 65 highway or limit. And then to the left of that's going to be western up 50 highway and then down 16th Street and out Y. And you can see kind of how it's kind of spread out. It's actually kind of passive. So in 2022, we ran 8,279 calls. Year to date, these are a little bit smaller, so I apologize, but you can see this year it's increased a little bit. Now, not quite as bad as it looks. I had to play with it was zoomed in. So, but on the left-hand side there, that's about the same image you had on the last slide. That's for this year, up to the 30th of September. On the right side is the middle sliver of Pettis County, which is where most of our calls are at. And you can kind of see slightly, see 65 highway, and you kind of see how it's spread out there. Kind of how we got here. In 2021, in July, we started searching for land on this side of town to try to build a state. And we found out that the state was going to purchase the 400 acres that was purchased to the west of us here. We got a hold of them. Our board chair, Nick, got a hold of Brad Pollitt, and we need about 3 acres, and he went to the governor's office and kind of started working that to see where we could go. We were assured that everybody was in favor of the purchase, and it was approximately 3 acres of land at $10,000 an acre. After reassurances, we did agree that we would pay for a survey of the entire 400 acres, which we were told that the state has their own surveyor looking for it. But from November 21, July 22, we waited for the state and everything kind of fall in place and the land to get purchased. In August 22, we got the board of trustees, you guys approved the purchase of the 200 acres of land at the roundabout. We've been in contact with Dr. Bates, and talking back and forth. I wasn't a part of those initial conversations. That was before my time, but I'm here now, so we're going to carry the torch forward. Our CFO, Jamie Lubering, Mr. Gerke, and Chief Dirk had several meetings, and we basically were just kind of throwing things back and forth, waiting to hear, kind of see what we could do. And that was, I'm sorry, I messed that up. That was in February of this year. Then in July of this year, there was some more correspondence about purchasing the land. We were provided an option of leasing and placing our station in place of the land house. We reviewed the leasing option, gave it careful consideration. I think it would restrict our ability to expand for future needs. And that's kind of what we're looking for is we want to build a building, but we want to be able to, if it really booms out west here, if we need to add another bay, more bedrooms, more living space, we can add more crews. And that's really the goal without having to go build a whole new building or tear one down and rebuild. We have now requested to purchase a parcel land over by the west of the roundabout, and that'll be in the map coming up here that we found, which is right there. So you see the roundabout, you got the high voltage line that runs there west of the roundabout. 3 acres in that little piece right there, I think would suit our needs. And that's what we're here to pitch to you all tonight. You guys got any questions?
So your plan is though to expand 3 acres would not be sufficient?
I think 3 acres would be sufficient to expand if we needed to add a bay to one side and bedrooms to the other. But I think 3 acres would be plenty of space for to build a building, and we still have a little bit of room.
One of the questions I had were the roundabouts going south, or excuse me, north. Both sides of Winchester is land for sale. How come you're not looking at that?
I know we've looked at it, and I'm afraid that the price was gonna be way out of our price.
Has anyone talked to anyone? I'm just curious.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the unfortunate thing, as much as they were asking, and that's been long enough ago that I'm not gonna quote prices, but it was enough that it would have a significant impact on what our ability, the abilities we would have to build a building moving forward after we didn't land.
What would you propose to pay for the 3 acres?
I mean, I think, if 10,000 an acre is what, we've all talked about, I mean, I would be in favor of $10,000 an acre. I'm sure the board would too.
Well, the Pettis County Ambulance District is organized totally within the boundaries of Pettis County and serves Pettis County exclusively. Is that correct?
Yeah.
State Fair Community College is organized as a district, including portions of all of Pettis County, all of Benton County, portion of Cooper County, portions of Saline, Johnson, and Henry counties. And so we receive tax dollars, and our trustees for people beyond the borders of Pettis County. And that is a concern. That is a concern that, as you said, land across the street is too expensive, and $10,000 an acre is less than fair market value of that land. And we have a responsibility to taxpayers in Benton and Cooper, as well as responsibility to Pettis County. And that is a concern that we have had, and I don't know how we can sell that to our constituents outside of Pettis County. Are there any other questions?
Mine all consist primarily of the land that the primary area that we had discussed the last board meeting was that your primary calls for service, the area is not, what I understand, it's not Walnut Hills, it's not Country Club, it's not this one you Hunter's Ridge. It's not there. It's all the elderly locations that we have.
All the apartments.
And it goes right back to what I said earlier. There's land, ample land for sale all in that area. By Winchester, and the whole 9 yards. So to me, it's somewhat confusing why you'd be focused on a hole in the wall down here to service your primary area when you're going to have to theoretically go out, down, and around, and then up and then over again, when you could be right there. That doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I mean, right now you see that where it's at, but with the future growth, I mean, we're looking, not just right here in front of us, but 10 years down the road, and what to expect. And we don't want to end up having to uproot and have to move or be out of place come that point either. And then it's like I said, it really comes down to what we can afford. I mean, that's really the bottom line.
And I'm not gonna act like I'm a knowledgeable individual about how much money you guys. I know you guys got money, because I saw the taxes that you give. So in turn, thinking, maybe I'm wrong, you would have ample money to buy land right in the primary area. It just wouldn't be 10,000 acres. It'd be like more like the Ray family spent for their 2.6 acres, which 4 years ago was just under 80,000. So
Would you be putting a helicopter pad?
We haven't got that far into the planning part of it yet. I know that's been a conversation, but we haven't dove yet, deep into it yet. I mean, right now, we want to try to figure out a plot of land, start planning a building, and see what will actually fit there. The main focus is building. We do need a helicopter down on the side of town, but honestly, we don't have.
Where's the closest spot to land one out this way?
Buffalo. Unless we clear a field somewhere out here. But that's not.
Buffalo today or Buffalo Winchester?
Buffalo today.
Yes.
Like numbers.
One a month.
And that wouldn't, and those all wouldn't be here from here, obviously. Would the ambulance district consider a ground lease, and if a ground lease would be considered, what would be the minimum term? Because you talk about flexibility, we would have an interest in if conditions change and that location no longer is viable. And the ambulance district would have a lease, would have ownership on it, then the ambulance district could dispose of it as the ambulance district sought. That might be could even be a use that would not be consistent with the needs of the college. And that, so is a ground lease a possible consideration?
I mean, I think it's something we can take back to our board and have a conversation about. And I'm not closing my ears. I don't think anybody else is.
In the facility that you'd build on it, approximately square footage and what it'd look, I mean, have you guys got that far? Like what it look like square footage?
We haven't really got that far. You're looking at 3 bays, a 3-bay garage with living quarters, with depending at the point when we actually get it built and what the needs are, then up to 6 bedrooms. Because if we have to run 3 ambulances out of that facility, it would be that range.
And just to clarify, the state of Missouri put $0 into the purchase of the farm.
For our site, for clarification.
For those 203 acres, state's contribution was $0.
You said you haven't got a hard bill to friends or anything like that. Say it happens tonight, and you just put it, it can't happen tonight. It happens tonight. What's the time frame?
Well, currently we've heard from architects and we plan to pick an architect. And I would like the timeframe to be as soon as possible. We,
Think
as far
it
as
could
building,
be built within 2 years,
I would hope less than 2.
less than 2 years.
That may be high aspirations, but
Yeah.
I would like.
But from the sounds of it, I mean, if we would approve something like this, you guys are ready to move forward ASAP, go to build, whatever construction time is what we're looking at. Really.
What do you project the traffic volume would be out of that station per day? I mean, I don't know how you guys set things, but
So I mean,
20 calls a day or
20, for here, you're looking at probably 10, 15.
And the site you propose that you would like to purchase from us also, I believe is currently our means of access into the remaining acreage of the farm. That's where our road entrance is off of 16th Street. And and so if we sell the land, that particular tract of land, there's an issue. There's an issue of access.
And the reason I ask about the helicopter is, as you know, a helicopter and cattle don't mix. I live on a farm, so I know that the sounds and those kind of things disrupt. So that's a concern to be able, because the intent of us when we bought this acreage was to have a farming operation. And chances are cattle would be near. So needing to know. I do want some clarification. So you mentioned on here that in October of 2021, that the ambulance district was assured everybody was in favor. So I want some clarification on who everybody is. Because this is the first time that we've had any presentation to us and had any conversation. So when you say everybody, who is everybody?
The folks with it, like the governor's office and Brad Pollock was working on the program. Originally, we were supposed to purchase our 3 acres from the ag department or whatever, the state ag department.
So what happened to that?
I don't know.
Because they have the same acreage we do, you know.
Exactly.
The same spot. And they're the ones negotiating how we're going to sell land we own.
And that's what the
Kind of makes
originally,
sense that they would be the ones you'd be negotiating.
that's what we were told, and whatever happened, then we were told to contact Dr. Bates, and since then, visit with him.
So a lot of this, just for getting clarification, like Richard was saying, a lot of this information was given to us, provided to the board under the concept that there was a tentative agreement with the state. They're going to assist in more than $1 million for our purchase of the property. And then they're going to assume the costs for the state Department of Ag, the state fair. And when they were talking about negotiating the costs as far as the survey and whatnot, I don't know who in state government, they said we have those services taken care of. So there was a lot of those things that we weren't privy to. That was just what was brought back to us. And the main focal point as far as our contact isn't here any longer. She retired and Dr. Bates is here now. So amongst several other things, it's been thrown in his absence, he's been president. It's the big one, because we had to make a decision whether we're going to reach into our reserves to purchase this, because the state, I'm not going to say renege, but that conversation went away really fast. And I remember myself making a statement, well, we're already reaching into our reserves, maybe we just need to reach in a little bit deeper and buy the whole damn thing. You know, that was just not price effective for something like that. But we've already started a process to develop programs for the college, utilizing that land as farm training for our students. And we've already bought equipment, we've already invested in instructors. I mean, that's where we're going with this. And whether it be 3 acres, 5 acres, doesn't really matter, because our purpose from purchase was for our kids, for the students. And it wasn't just, you know, subcontract plots of land. And I remember specifically saying to myself, who appointed Brad Pollock to negotiate the sales of our land, the land that we purchased? So don't know how that happened, don't know what was going on. I just know that the state got just as much as we do. And I would think they would have accesses that would be plausible. Not granted, not as plausible as E.W. Thompson Incorporated, but there's a lot of things that might have been going on that we weren't aware of. Might have been a lot of things that we weren't aware of that had not gotten a vote from the board of trustees, because it was all conversational. There was nothing that's ever been, it's just like today. There's not been a hardcore proposal given to us. And if I drive by a shop you own, I want to buy it. I don't go up to you and go, so what do you do for me? I make a proposal to you and you say either or. I mean, that's how purchasing land, how it goes. So justifying the background, the history. I know Patty's got a Bible question just out of our sheer curiosity, but really and truly, I don't care what someone back never negotiated because they didn't have the authorization to enter into any kind of contract. So if there's not a contract, there's not an agreement. So it's just jibber jabber. So we are the people that would have to make that vote. And we never had a post before us. So.
There. The tract land that you're proposing. Are you aware that there's also some conversation out about a road from going south from 16th Street in that area?
I've heard that, but I don't know.
That the tract that you're looking at is one of the suggested locations for a road to be put through running north-south and would probably take we have an idea, 40 feet of
11 acres total,
I
think, across our property.
right away with. So that's also out there that you got a site selected that that might end up as pavement.
Tim,
Yes, sir.
relative to your analogy about offering to buy the business, what if someone had told you that you could rent a room of that building at some point when it was sold, and then it was sold and they wouldn't let you rent the room? We feel like we've been left out. We were in the negotiations on this deal early on. Felt like we were we were gonna get a 3-acre parcel somewhere.
You sure that?
Yeah, and then now we're thinking, well, maybe this could work because when looking at the topographic map, that would be the hardest 3-acre piece of your land to farm. So that's why we thought maybe that would work out. I didn't realize that these other factors are there.
Sure, that was, and according to my way of looking at my analogy, it was like, he owns it, it's his property, it's his building. This next door neighbor negotiated with me to have a party or have a whatever it is.
If he bought it, he was going to let you have a.
Well, we don't know that because that didn't happen here.
That didn't happen because we were told that, well, no.
Who told?
We've been operating under the assumption, and I will give granted, it's not it, but we operate on tax dollars to provide a service to the community, and you operate on tax dollars to provide a service to the community. And it seemed like an opportunity where a tiny piece of somewhere, and originally a road was going to go through, but it isn't. So that was off the table, and we're just looking for a place to land to better serve the same citizens you serve. And maybe we'll have to go to Thompson Hills. And then when we have to pay $50,000 or $60,000 an acre, we'll just tell the taxpayers that we couldn't find a better, cheaper place. That's
Yeah,
all.
It's
No hard feelings.
It's also a portion of the same. We serve a portion of, you serve a portion of the same taxpayers. We serve.
Okay. And is the state going to tell us the same thing, Richard? They collect taxes from all over the whole state, so they can't help Pettis County out here.
Good coach, and obviously we don't know what the state's gonna say.
No, I know what they're going to say. That's above our pay grades. Okay, I'm sorry. That's.
But I like I said, I mean, it's your all's business, your all money. I mean, know how much you make damn good money off the tax. And in turn, parting with however much time, well, I mean, Brad's property was 2.26 acres. Cost under $80,000.
Yeah.
And he bought it 4 years ago, right on 16th Street. So how much more could it have gone up? I don't know. How much more has that land gone up in value since we got it under value from the land family in the first place? So.
Just
There's
saying,
a lot of-
we're looking for a place to be responsible to the tax.
I understand.
I think Patty, our discussion was, we received the proposal and the presentation. And that, we had, after receiving it, we need to talk to some of our constituents. And take this PowerPoint and share this information with some of our constituencies and to get feedback from we've had some internal feedback, but some of our external constituencies, but they feel. So I think we have the information now that we can take and receive and get the feedback, and then can make a informed decision. And we may even be, and it may be that, and we can say yes, we can say no, or we can make a counter proposal. But we need to get that feedback and then make a decision as a board. And it's going, and we can't do that tonight. It's going to take us at least until our November meeting, if not our December meeting, before we can make an informed response.
Okay, one last call for questions.
How big was the facility you said it was?
3 bays and up to about 6 bedrooms. I don't want to.
Square footage wise?
Is it about the same size as TT? Is that what that is out there? Is that 3 bay out there?
It's 2 bay. It'll probably be about the same size as TT would be. So.
So brick facade, nicer presentation.
Yeah.
I don't know as far as outside,
Yeah.
but
Okay,
I just want to say, I mean, and I know there's a lot of back and forth and just, I appreciate you guys coming in and putting this out here in front of us and having an open conversation, because I think, as Kim said, we serve a lot of the same constituents, and we just got to be able to see if this is a spot we can move forward. So I do appreciate you guys taking the time to come out here and have an open conversation on this very much.
One of our biggest criticisms is the response time going in this direction. We've got to relocate somewhere.
Yep.
So if you can help us find a spot.
Right. The goal is to see if we can make this.
you guys, anything for me as far as, as you move forward?
I think our response would be, as we gather the information, we'll give some instruction or some direction to Dr. Bates, and that Dr. Bates could follow up with you based upon the direction that he receives from the board of trustees.
Like it.
And Chief, we do want to continue to work towards maybe a partnership with the paramedic program and provide other ways to support.
So that's probably the main piece of all of this that I have the most concerned about, is making sure that is there. And with that facility.
In other words, it would be quid pro quo, and just coach, I've known him too damn long. If he wants something productive for the community, he's going to ask and try his damnedest to get something productive.
We just got to find a place that we can be responsible to our taxpayers as well. And
thank you so much for coming this evening.
as far as too much money, you know what a new ambulance costs?
How much money? I know how much it's much. I know how much patrol cars.
Yeah.
Tractors. All right, there's a few more seats for those who are standing and starting. You're welcome to come on in and sit a little further. All right, so back to the agenda. It looks like we're ready to discuss the academic calendar for the 24-25 year. Wow.
We know our mission is about learning, it's about education, training. It's also about recruiting, retaining, graduation, right? So we use our structures to do that, and not just our physical structure, but the academic calendar is our structure that allows us to present courses, programs in the right time to allow our students to be successful. So it's kind of like a car. It looks pretty simple on the outside sometimes, but you lift up the hood and there's a whole lot more to it. So as easy as this could be to ask that, hey, do you like this? And it looks very similar, maybe even to last year or whatever. There's a lot more, there's a lot of changes in here and a lot of small things that relate to much bigger things. The academic calendar is our start to many other future endeavors that we have with retaining and graduating our students. So we wanted to spend a couple minutes. So as you look at tab 10, again, looks very similar, but there's some differences there. And because of that, I want to have our registrar, Dr. Roberts, she kind of honchoed this. That's my word of the month, honchoed. Although she has a great team, we have, as always, faculty, the administration and student service folks work on this. She's ultimately the one it kind of funnels to and presents it. So I want her to take a moment to explain some of our philosophies, what went on with this and some things like that, to give you an idea of really what went into and where we're going with this academic calendar and how important it is to our future.
The last time I saw y'all was in the January board meeting. I was introduced as a new employee. So lots happened in 9 months.
Welcome back.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. What we're going to talk about is the academic calendar. And there are some few changes made. I want to point those out to you because I think they're giving us opportunities to do different things with our students and also to be more responsive to our community. So you're going to see some interesting things. Let's do the sheet that's in the board packet.
Oh, they have it.
They have that, okay. In that, which I don't, sure it is. Let's take a look at things that are different. I want to start with the spring schedule. Now think about the spring calendar. Starts in January, ends in May. What we have is 8 weeks of instruction. And then we have spring break. We start after Martin Luther King Day, so go on down. And then we have the month of February, the long month of February. And then in March, we have the spring break. We have 8 weeks of instruction, the spring break week in which faculty, staff, and students are all off. And then we come back and have the second half of our term, the second 8 weeks. That works beautifully. 8 weeks in, a break, 8 weeks. The difference is that second 8-week time period has a final exam week. And we have 2 8-week terms. That means the first 8-week term doesn't have a final exam week. Those are inequity in their instructional time. Okay, the second 8 weeks actually meets 7 weeks and has a final exam week. So they're being cut on instruction. So when I went back through and looked at past calendars, we had anywhere from 18-week terms to 15-week terms. So what I did was try to make it equitable and meet the requirement by our HLC governing body, as well as the federal definition from the Department of Education. So we're looking at a 16-week of instruction term. Okay, so we'll have 8 weeks, just like in the spring. We'll have a spring break, and then we'll have 8 weeks. That will allow us to have 2 8-week terms, one before and one after. Works beautifully, but it also allows us to bring in something we've never done before: 4 4-week terms. So when the term begins, we'll have 4 weeks in and out, 4 weeks in and out, and then 2 more at the second one. We don't currently have any 4-week classes, but we think the opportunity is there. I think there's some draw for that. Dr. Murders has really mentioned that 8 weeks is really taking over our competitors right now. A lot of folks are going to 8-week terms. It works for our military. Our young people have an attention span about 8 weeks long. Curriculum fits beautifully in 8 weeks. Not all curriculum, but a lot of curriculum does fit there. I've been a faculty member, so I know what types of things I can work out in that area. So 2 8-week terms, we're trying to push towards that. But we think there's also some opportunities for those 4 4-week terms. If you think about students, they can take 1 course every 4 weeks and be full-time. That's pretty cool. That meets some needs of our working students, our parents, our whatever needs. That's just something that's different out there. So that's what we're hoping to offer with this. Yes, sir.
So what would you offer in a 4-week window? Like what kind of courses?
I taught teacher education. I would teach a methods class easily. You could do internships beautifully. Our prereqs, our English prereq, math prereq, maybe where students don't need to learn it over again, they need to be reminded of it. I just need to refresh a little bit on this. I think that would be a great opportunity.
I actually actually was a 3 week,
Really?
three week, and we met five days a
Yeah.
week instead of
Yeah.
3 days a week. So that, and we did for 2 or 3 hours.
Mhm. Very
So
intense.
That's one of
So
the
we
things
had the same instructional time, but it was all compressed.
Very
We
intense.
will all still be doing instructional time. So instead of being here for 3 classes all one day, you might be here even less time, but in one class.
Yeah.
And be in the seat time, and then in 4 weeks, do psych, do comp one, do math, do whatever, and focus. It's got that possibility. We're not forcing that. That's something our faculty have to see if they want to do. This is a best practice that's been done by a lot of private, for-profits that have really hit the, military, but also the non-traditional. So we want to build this structure in so we can have the availability. Not only do we have this structure in, I don't mean to steal your thunder, but one of the other things is because we're building this structure, we can do anything. Right. So we're giving more flexibility to faculty and whatever else comes on. We're not limiting we've built the 4 because makes sense. Math is not my strongest, even though I used to teach it, right? 4, 4, 4, 4. We got breaks in between each one, 16. It makes sense. But if somebody needed a 6-week course, we can do that. Somebody wants 2 7-week courses. We have the ability to do that and manage that. And so it's to go with, again, what are the student needs? We want to build a future foundation we can build on, but this seems like we're building off best practices, what others are doing. We think it could work for us. So and maybe we might use it for a few of our first semester, get people in. We might use it for other areas, even potentially dual credit. There's just a lot of possibilities. So if we build it, hopefully they'll come.
That was a little bit, no, I'm not in education, so I don't know if I can say that's my concern, but my thought was it gets more intense
Mhm.
as
Absolutely.
you shorten your term down.
Mhm.
In practicing off the best practice, I'd be interested in, or we're going off the best practices of others, I'd be interested in what that success rate is.
It's actually, the research suggests it's better.
It is, but it's much higher. So think of it this way.
Higher. You can hold your breath for 4 weeks.
Think of it this
Or
way.
you can-
That's a lot of, I mean,
The-
you know,
my
for me, that'd be a
Yeah.
lot.
I'm gonna have a baby. I have the baby in January. I can't start school. Do I wait 16 weeks? No, I might be able to go back to school and hit the next 3 classes, maybe even get a full schedule on, maybe do those things. Yes. What if I'm not doing well when I first start? Maybe they readjust you and can keep you in. These are tools that I want our navigators and our advisors to have. So if somebody needs to set out, is it only for 4 weeks or only 8 weeks? It's much easier to get you back in and going again. If we lose you for a whole semester, again, research shows that it's much tougher to get you back and not get
You're
you.
focusing on just one class
Mhm.
at a time
Yeah.
and bang that out.
Are we rolling this out 100%, or are we thinking we're just gonna offer this and you really see?
We're going to offer to see what faculty want to teach in those terms.
Yes.
Look at the content drive it. I'm hoping the student demand will drive it as well. I know you've heard about some of the rural school districts only going 4 days a week. It's possible you're here for 1 day for maybe 3 or 4 hours, and then you're not here the rest of the week. That would accommodate those needs of the community. So we're looking at possibilities down the road.
So one of the challenges here at the time, I would be interested in having them come back after that first semester, getting a good report.
So one of our challenges, and Jim's for sure over here sweating, is seriously giving credit, is the thing about the logistics. This is all about logistics now. Academics is running a logistics company and Jim's got, so he's got, the gen eds primarily. So how's he gonna line up his teachers? How's he gonna ensure full loads? So he's got a whole new, this also adds to his new endeavors, all the deans, but especially his. How's he gonna manage that and make faculty feel comfortable teaching just the 4 weeks and having security? So it's gonna be a long transition. We know there's those issues, but we want to put, again, this structure in place.
This is what we want to do it.
Yes, so whenever you're talking about the research, so who has done this? Is it a community college? Is it university that you have that the research?
Pretty much across the board. And And it started probably, I started noticing the research more on COVID. We didn't know how long COVID was gonna last. So the college I was at, we put out a 4-week term, so we didn't lose students. We couldn't commit to 16 weeks because we didn't know what was gonna happen. So we put out a quick 4-week hit and dash, and they weren't doing anything else anyway. So like you said, you can concentrate all day long on that course. And the retention rate was through the roof. People kept coming back, I can do, okay, I'm not gonna commit anymore, but I'll do one more 4-week. I'll do one more 4-week, and COVID lasted 2 years. So we
You're
got
not
3
gonna
years.
see a lot of the traditional universities do this because it's just not their niche and their model. What you will see is the for-profits of Western governors and things like that are really been doing this a while because they're not for the traditional, they're for the non-traditional. That's what this, in the military, which is a subgroup of that, and others that come and go so quickly and help them. So it's a way to, it's for that niche.
It's
And
like
community-
graduation time.
it could, and then as well as you'll start seeing community colleges are doing it. The 4 weeks is something a little bit ahead right now. The 8 weeks is really where it's at. Everyone, most community colleges and the big community college systems have went to this. And talking about big, we're talking about Arkansas for a minute. But Arkansas, most of the community colleges just have agreed, they're going to 8-week sessions and they run 6 of them consecutively. You just don't know when you start anytime, boom, boom, boom. So again, that's what this allows us to do. More entry points, more continuation. Again, it's logistics because we have to have it in courses, teachers and things. So we've got some growth work to do.
How far ahead do you have to do this then? I mean, because just see that it works, you've got to plan.
So we're gonna, the structure will start next fall. How much of that we'll utilize will be pretty minimal, I think, because again, most of it's fine faculty, and that's not a negative with faculty. It's a different structure. We're gonna have to figure out how to do it, to get used to it, train, do some things, but we want to get it in place. Second thing this does is really minimize some of our time frame, as Dr. Roberts said, so we can there's actually more time for our students. There's breaks, again, even if it's just a day, there's breaks in between classes where before they flipped the very next day and did some things. It gives our faculty a day of grading and reporting that they're always, I shouldn't say always late, but it's hard when you're teaching and I'm finishing up. So we have a day. There's a lot of other little, when I say there's a lot of little cogs going on here. So in thinking about the faculty, students, staff, and how we can do that. So trying to highlight a little bit of that.
So we're hoping to put it out there and see what happens with it. Now, that's the spring semester. That's the easy one. Then we turned around and said, well, we do it spring, we've got to do it fall. Well, fall's a little different. We also found that there were 16, 17, 18-week terms there. So we fixed that. Welcome to Missouri for me. I found out I was trying to start classes at all times in August, and I was very abruptly told, you don't start till after the fair. So I learned that this year in the last 9 months. So starting it after the fair, like I was told to do, you can still run 8 weeks, go ahead into September. Okay, regular term goes on in, and then we get into October. And what we built in then was a fall break to mimic spring break. The only difference is the break there is only for students. Faculty and staff will still report during that week. We can use it for professional development. We can use it for our program review, a lot of work that we have to do anyway. Students will be off, so they will have a break between 8 weeks and 8 weeks. And then we asked Dr. Bates for the Friday and for a fall holiday. He said, yes. What can I say? You know, if I'd known that, I'd ask for more. But he-
Well, wasn't that something you said about getting fired earlier?
Be nice, be nice. So we built in an 8-week term, fall break, and then the second 8-week term. We did the same thing with the 2 4s, before and after, and it worked out beautifully. That's not wasted time. That also brought us into a 16-week term, both semesters. The final exam week, quote unquote, is gone. It's the last week of the term. Faculty can give finals anytime they want to. They're not limited to those days. If you need to give more than a 50-minute exam, you can give it across 2 classes if you want to. When I taught, I often gave my exams the week before the last week, and my last week was feedback, assessment, that type of thing that I can do in the classroom. So we think faculty can make use of that as well. So there is now a fall commencement. I'm sure you've heard that. So the last day of the fall term in 2024 will be December 13th. So all the terms end at the same time. Fall commencement is there, so it doesn't roll over or spill over into anything else. So we got excited about that when it worked out. Both terms are 16 weeks of instruction semesters. For 1 week break in there for both spring and fall. Came together beautifully. We think it will work. I've met with housing, I've met with financial aid, I've met with the business office, I've met with the bookstore, anyone who has buy-in into this to make it work. We sat down with calendars, everybody found a way, no one had a problem with it. Housing wants to address that fall break while students are off, but they may choose to be here. We have a number of international students and they may choose to be here. We can make arrangements for that. We talked about food services. If they are here, we're gonna feed them. And they said that's not a problem in that. So we've covered those bases, meeting with as many people as we can.
What was the faculty input?
Faculty input was they are very interested in the 2 8 weeks. But again, we heard that a certain curriculum works better in those 8 week terms. Some people are absolutely committed to 16 weeks and that's all they'll do. But we have some faculty who are very, very interested in the 8 weeks. We had a couple even come forward and said, what about this? What about this for 4 weeks? So we're hoping that some will try it. We really do. If someone comes here late, you know, our international students sometimes don't always get here the first day of the term. This way they don't have to sit out for a whole term or even 8 weeks extra, you know, 2 3 weeks later.
So the faculty is to grow buy-in over time.
Yeah, I mean, the structure's there, so really, we're building the structure and hope they see the value of that.
It's not-
But it doesn't change.
No, it's not negative. No.
It doesn't change anything we do. We do 12 weeks already. We do 8 weeks already. We can do more of
We
it.
do 2 weeks.
And
Mhm.
we've done things in
Yeah,
2 weeks.
right.
And interims, and we still have the interims in place for those. We made sure we had those 2 week interims in there. Now, I just want to clarify one thing in case you heard when we were talking, Dr. Roberts said 18 weeks and all this. We weren't doing anything wrong. It's more of a philosophy. We built the schedule around health science. And again, that's not a negative about health science, but some of our programs need more with clinical and everything else. So we built the schedule to fit the big picture and we chose to fit the majority. And then we built the structure where health science can start 2 weeks early, 3 weeks early, 1 day early, whatever they need to for the exception, not the general. So we're not affecting everybody to teach 18 weeks. Students are going the time when they don't have to, doing more when we can do, have them working on other courses and so forth. So that was kind of the big one.
Questions? Ready to enroll? Everyone should try a 4 week course. You never, would you like to have chemistry in 4 weeks? No.
We do.
No, I do have a question.
Yes.
This is what would be asked of me when I get home.
Yes.
The perk that faculty has, they have a day that they can do their grading, they can do
Yes.
this. And is that same perk when you carry it over to?
Now, the health science folks are on their own kind of schedules. Like I said, we built it on them. So it's every program slightly different, but this schedule gives them, so they're in the same, nothing's really changed for health science.
There's.
Because their cohort programs in a structure, instead of building that and getting around the cohorts, we built it around more of a traditional and ensured that they could add on or take away. So whether they build their own time in. So in health science, we've spent the most time with health science and the what ifs, and they probably had the most buy-in. Just because they've asked the most questions, and that's not against anybody else, it's just it was gonna affect them the most. Or up here, and they asked the most questions, and they're
I mean, that makes
very extremely happy, but
I mean, because if I take psychology, I'm not gonna kill somebody if I don't get that training as opposed to,
Exactly.
you know.
And they offer an awful lot of 2 credit classes, which I didn't know. 2 credit classes would be great in alternative.
It sounds like you have a lot of perks that would go past faculty. You would also go home with the students, because one of the things I heard was your classified as a full-time student. Right?
Yeah, if you
12
take
hours.
12 hours, you
12
get
hours,
4
so-
each 4 weeks.
So that's
Nice.
always the big thing. You gotta be a full-time student to qualify for mom, dad's insurance and all those. other
or if you had to drop a class, if we can put on a 4-week class at the end of the semester to get it made up, so you can still apply for A+ for your scholarship. for X, Y, Z. It's just lots of things. It'd be, we could talk all night and I know you don't want to. We've had a
Sure,
full-
Michael.
Unless, are there any other questions?
Now, this sounds to me like what you're doing is you had this toolbox that had a hammer and a screwdriver. And you guys are throwing more things in that toolbox, so,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's the way of the world now. We can't just.
We think some great things are going on.
I appreciate the effort you guys put into that.
Thanks for letting me come
Thank
back.
you. Well, if no more questions, it's my privilege to recommend to the Board of Trustees to approve the academic calendar for fall 2024 through summer 2025.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion
As a follow-up, I apologize. We're going to do this every year, not 2 years. And it's going to allow us, I should have said this a moment ago, flexibility.
I take it back.
So it's things. And the same with our catalog because they go together. But every year, even though it's more on us, we think it's going to provide us the ability to flex for our students. So we'll be back next year.
Okay, all right. Looks like we're ready for Desi Area Career Center Construction Fund. Keith?
Thank you. These are titles of this may seem familiar to you from past terms, but I want to get some notes here. But this year, earlier this year, we applied, so the budget, FY 24 DESI budget, House Bill 2 allocated 5.5 million to DESI for design, renovation, construction, improvements of career technical schools. Provided those costs are shared on a ratio of 50% state, 50% local, so 50-50 match. State fair we applied for and have been awarded $500,000 for the CTC portion of the Center for Advanced Agriculture and Transportation Technology and Construction. I'll give you a little bit of background here. So the letter, so for that $5.5 million available, DESI had 17 schools apply for those grants, and the amount of grants requested was $40,042,253. So they had $40 million requested, only $5.5 million to give out to 17 schools. We got $500,000 of the $5.5 million, or 10% basically, when so that left $500,000 for 16 schools and $35 million out there. We know $500,000 was the maximum when they awarded. So, yeah, I think it's a testament to probably the work our CTC program does, the outcomes they've given, the work we've done in the past. So I was, particularly proud to know we got that much money, knowing that literally there's $35 million that a lot of people probably didn't get that. So we did get $500,000 for it. It is for the cap. We have to spend money by May 15th, 2024. That shouldn't be a problem, given that we're breaking ground, probably in January. So anyway, with that in mind, I recommend to you, to Board of Trustees, to authorize the president to accept the DESI Area Career Center Extension Grant as described.
Motion to approve.
Wait a second.
Second.
All right. Any questions for Keith? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, Keith, looks like you're still up.
Key things that few sole source purchases coming out, particularly because of our NC3 certifications. The first is semi-hermetic training simulator. That's a refrigeration simulator to complement our HVAC program. So it's recommended the Board of Trustees approve the sole source purchase of 4 Copeland semi-hermetic training simulators for a total price of $38,800 from Pearson Educational Services, in Ohio. These simulators meet the national industry recognition standards for NC3. Funding for these is 100% the MOAG sales grant funds that we receive for the Center for Excellence in Advanced Manufacturing and Innovation.
Motion to approve.
Second. Any questions?
New units, right?
Yes.
And how many, I see that it fits 4 students per unit. Do we have 16 to 20 people in that program?
We have on the HVAC program, we expect to have 20. So 4 is what we've been working on. Yes, they do 4 each. Yes.
Thank you.
Anything else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, keep it going.
Next will be a CTC purchase. It is for a Haas ATTA turret subassembly. I'm not gonna pretend to know what it is, so I know conceptually what it is. So the, recommended board of trustees approved a sole source purchase of 6 Haas APTA trucks of assemblies for a total price of $40,100 from Haas Factory Outlet for New York. So this is an attachment to the current Haas lathes that we have. These 8 tool station trucks expand the capabilities of the existing Haas TL1 tool lathes, the preceding main precision machine technology programs. So basically an add-on to the lake we already have, and then more tools to work with. Funding for this is 75% enhancement grant and 25% from the CFCC CTC operating budget.
Motion to approve.
Your second,
Second.
any questions? Are these the ones that are when you walk in that room, and those machines?
The lathe,
I think
There's a second level.
The second.
over-
it's the lathe in the back.
On the back, okay.
I think the supporting documentation in the packet indicates that this will about double capacity for the for training and the number of students that can be served.
And I think it's worth noting, I read that letter from Mr. Parker and it said that one of our advisory members suggested this. And I think that's even more partnership and
We
community.
really work hard at this, what we base all of this, because when you see, just FYI real quick, when you see us asking for enhancement for Perkins, for the 50/50, we have our folks making sure advisory board is where this comes from. So we behind the scenes ensure that for you.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Okay,
Then the next one is a Haas ST14Y turning center machine package. So this is a larger unit, much larger unit. It's recommended the board of trustees approve the sole source purchase of one ST15Y turning center machine package. The price is $104,635.25 from the Haas factory out in Kansas City, Mo. There's one documentation in the package as well. So you can, refresh that stuff. The package will be used to enhance the training capabilities of our precision machining technology program. This will be for the college side of that. So slight change in funding. Funding is 75% enhancement grant, 25% SFCC. The work, take your CTC out. It's for the college program. I copy and paste our particular CTC out and pure transparency. So funding is for 75% enhancement grant and 25% the SFCC operating budget.
Motion to approve as amended.
your second.
Second.
Anything, other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passed. All right, Dr. Bates, trustee election.
We have 2 trustees whose terms end, and trustees Wood and Oldham's terms expire. And so we need this resolution to proceed with the trustee election on April 2nd, 2024. So the filing dates for declaration of candidacy will be from Tuesday, December 5th through from 5 p.m. And that's through the closing of business.
What time is that? You close on the 20th? Is that right? At 12 noon.
On the 20th.
Yes. And then we will also be open to accept filings on the last day the state allows filings, Tuesday, December 26th. We will be open from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock. And the elections will be for 6-year terms. We'll have two trustees elected. So we're asking for the authority to do that.
Okay, do I-
I think I would like to propose an amendment to the,
Having the
yes,
December 20th.
beginning, we read filing dates for the declaration of candidacy will be Tuesday, December 5, 2023, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. through December 20 from 8 a.m. to 12 noon period, Additionally, comma, the president's office will also be open to accept filing declarations on Tuesday, December 26th. Finish that out is.
Motion approved as amended.
Thank you for your second.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. After it.
Well, the first item on our president's report is program service review. And so State Fair Community College each year has recognition for its employees at the end of the year. And but we have a group of employees that also work here that work hard for the institution and we're proud to call as colleagues, but are actually employed by other people. And so in the IT department, we have Lucian employees that work for us, and 30 of the Western employees work for us. But those folks don't recognize it at that ceremony. But today we want to recognize one of those employees, and Tammy Montgomery. Would you come forward up here? Patty, would you come forward here?
Usually.
Let's do it right over here. So Tammy started working at State Fair Community College right out of high school. She started as a student worker.
Show the people online.
Do we face this way? Which way do we face?
I think
That way. It's right there.
Because it's now on top of the.
Tammy started work right out of high school as a student worker in the IT department, and she never left. Over the 40 years she has worked here, she's seen the technology evolve at State Fair Community College. She helps support the Genzabar ERP, the student information system as a programmer, the system administrator, IBM System 36, the IBM AS400, Sun Microsystems, Genzabar, Banner, Oracle. These are just a few of the major systems she's worked on in her tenure. Tammy was a key resource in the conversion of Genzabar ERP to the Banner ERP in 2004, 2005 era. And since that time, she has been instrumental in supporting Banner and developing the program review system in Cognos. So 40-year tenure, State Fair Community College. I believe she started, you know what month you started? It was
September 19th.
September 19th. So she's working on her 41st year now, or is this your 40th year? Just do the math.
41st.
But this is close to the anniversary. So we're like,
That way, you want to show the online? Show the online people, there you go.
Yeah, and appreciation for 40 years of dedicated service. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry I had to mislead everybody with that. So, you want to say anything, Tammy?
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
And I did start last night. Yeah, it's right after.
So the camera is here?
Yes.
So Tammy,
Could I come?
yeah, are these people all with you?
This is Becky Rose,
Yes,
Kelly Ingram,
yeah.
husband Mike, and Mark Averly, and Dan Jones. And Chad was here. And Eric.
I'm sorry we made you wait so long.
Wait, 40 years.
She- We almost went into the 41st year of this meeting. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And congratulations, Tammy.
I do have a couple of things to add to the president's report. Just a reminder that graduation for our new winter graduation ceremony is December 15th at Smith Cotton. So we need to know from you all who all is going to attend. And so you need to let Lisa know that. And it is December 15th, 7 p.m. Instructions will follow. You may have told me and I forgot to tell.
I think
Liz.
yeah, we're good. Keep going.
Okay. There were just a few people. So, and we also need to know if you're gonna have guests attending, like spouses, and so we're gonna set aside seats for them, but we just need to know that.
Plus 10. Myself
7
plus 10.
p.m.
Mine will be tentative with a possible 7-day-old, so.
We want them.
You're on stage with me.
In November, you may see some activity, physical activity on the west side of our current campus area, related to the building expansions on the west side of campus. We have contracted with the low bidder CNE Excavating to remove trees along the western border of the current campus, eastern border of the farm, roughly along that area from the walking track to the barn, basically on the farm. And that's to make way for new power lines to be installed by Evergy, which will provide power to the western side of our camp. So I just want to alert you to that. Justin drives by and he always says, what's the activity going on there? So I want to give you a heads up to that. But
Thinking
that's-
about the west side
that's
and
exciting.
electricity, are the light, we passed the other night, the lights are flashing. on the wall.
We are aware of that issue and maintenance is working on solution. And then finally, I have some good news to announce to each of you. Goldman Sachs, the financial firm, has a program as part of their community service initiatives, and it's called 10,000 Small Businesses. And this program has been going on for 14 years. They provide training and even capital to small businesses all around the world. Their goal was to serve 10,000 small businesses. In 14 years, they've served 14,000 small businesses. But as they analyzed the type of businesses that they serve, they discovered that they were leaving out a significant part of America, and that's the rural economy. And so they've refocused that program to serve 10,000 small rural businesses. And they started just this year, I believe, with programs in North Dakota and Arkansas, with plans to expand this year to Missouri and to Kentucky. And they were looking for community college partners to do this. And State Fair Community College was recommended to be a partner. And we just made an agreement with them 2 days ago to be the partner for this Goldman Sachs 10,000 small businesses. So what that means is 40 small businesses small business leaders will come to our campus in February for an orientation to the program, and then May for the end of the program, 4 days on each side. And so they will go through a curriculum to support their business. And these have to be existing businesses. There's some criteria. They have 2 employees. They're really looking for, those medium-sized new businesses, not the really big ones that attract angel investors, not the real small ones that don't need much capital, but this middle group that really need help developing their plan and getting capital. So there's a competitive process that's going on now. Those 40 will be selected. They'll come to Sedalia, to State Fair Community College. This Goldman Sachs will partner with our Small Business Development Center, others in our community, to help teach these folks about the ins and outs of being successful in small business. So it's a great opportunity. Part of the reason that we were selected is because of our strong workforce training programs here. So that reputation has paid off. And there's a good chance that, we are really working hard to share with our local small businesses this opportunity. So it's a great opportunity for our community college and for our partners. So excited about that. That's my report.
Okay. All right, Keith, looks like we're ready for a financial report.
Okay. So, financial report, we're, 1 quarter of the year now. So we kind of start taking a look at, how we're doing, more or less. Pretty much the revenue for the fall semester tuition fees is in. You see that it's, halfway through the year, half revenue in, we're about $1 million ahead, where last year is that we were expected. Overall, our enrollment is up slightly, once we include the census, so this is pretty much on budget to a little bit ahead of budget there. Other than that, our other revenues are probably very much in line with what we expected them to be right now. Expense wise, if you recall, the last month we had our gap of revenues over expenditures versus last year has closed a little bit. And I will say that the month of September was somewhat more expensive than I anticipated, but yet when I look at the fact that we're at 25.2% of our expenses through the quarter, probably just actually being right on budget. I'm probably just not used to seeing us right on budget, but maybe a little under budget on that. But I am watching the expense side a little bit to see if there's anything in particular that may be catching my eye. So what I haven't seen, I think it's just literally, I think we're on our budget more so than anything, but I am watching that a little bit. But we're still, actually our revenues over expenditures are still ahead of the past couple of years at this time. And we are very, very close to being fully employed this year, which in the past, last year, this time, we probably had a significant number of open positions. We still have a few this year, but not very many. We are pretty close to being where we need to be. So that's a good thing, is that the gap in our staff, faculty and staff has closed greatly.
And we attribute some to our strategic emphasis in the emphasis on employees.
So you can think, over the before that, because, they're really minded to the open position. It's good. So that's the report here. The next is the investment report, in September. You'll see on that at that point in time, we had a large yellow box. We had about $13.9 million worth of investments in cash in the bank at Central. We are gradually working out of the fixed income investments we did a couple of years ago. And nobody was earning anything. Now we got a total return rate of about 4.8 on average. I do want to report that last week I did work with Central Trust Bank and did reinvest about $493,000 in some fixed term CDs, because that's when rates hit up close to, I think I got 4.95% for 5 years. So I thought I might as well lock in of a 13 million portfolio, take $500,000 and give us some 5-year notes. Maybe looking out over the next few months of start laddering more of that up. The Fed is basically saying we'll be higher for longer. But there's a 50-50 chance that folks that we may have topped out the rates, we may just stay here, but stay longer. So it might be time to start looking at some longer term, but we are getting good return on our money invested in the bank right now. So I want to take advantage of that. So that's the investment report. As you know, we are spending money. So, these balances will go down over the course of the next 2 quarters as we finish off fielding, as we start investing in new places. And that was the whole purpose of this. We want to take that money investing. We've converted a lot of money into fixed assets and assets that will grow the offerings of the college long term. And that's how we want to do. So going up from that. Some of the purchases we made during September that were in the 10,000 to 25,000 range to report on. There's 5 to report on. Ad Astra is our room scheduling software. It works with our courses and all that to make sure rooms are being managed properly, space managed, for lack of a better term. That was $17,745. We renewed our Adobe software licenses. We use Adobe throughout the company, everywhere. That's 17.3. Ad Astra and CW were both budgeted. They're part of the budget. We do it so we know they're happening. Emory Electric that's work on fielding. That actually is a change order fielding. When the electrical gear didn't come in for the current building, we had to do some work to take the existing electrical gear and make it work, and until we get a conditional certificate of occupancy. That took some additional work for them to require some things, put some safeguards around it. So that that measure was about 12.5 to do that, so that we could open the building, and the electrical gear, is probably still not, the initial gear, the gear we ordered still probably won't be here until May. So this was allowing us to open it and move forward with that, that's why, that's the difference, so that's fielding. The next two also are all budgeted expenses on there, but the next one is, the VR, the Oxford Medical Simulation, that's the software that powers the simulation, the patient simulators, what do they call, or
Virtual reality.
yeah, virtual reality, the gals that, what they name their simulator.
Yeah.
That, and then last one's our DocuSign contract. So not all those, and all those that bring one to it, we're in Egypt to begin with.
Any questions for Keith? All right, board discussion. Anybody have anything? Might want to mention for those who, weren't with us, that we came at 5 o'clock. 5 of the board members, as well as Dr. Bates, attended the ACCT Leadership Congress. And so we wanted the opportunity to share, because we did have Tim, who wasn't able to go with us, and we wanted to share the information that we gathered and have a chance to talk and to say thanks for letting us attend that Congress so that we could, get some professional development. So we did that live. Anything else in discussion? All right, being none, it looks like next meeting will be November 16th, which is
Thursday,
it is a Thursday.
is that Thursday prior to Thanksgiving?
Okay, oh, it is, okay.
We likely will have a work session at that meeting prior to. But that hasn't been finalized.
Okay, so 5:30, November 16th, which is on a Thursday, moved up because of Thanksgiving being the next week. We also need to call a special board meeting. Do you want me to just read, or do you have anything you want to say, Dr. Bates?
This is just an announcement of the special board meeting that we're going to have in January 4th to approve bids for new residence.
With the time on that?
Oh, 5:30.
All right, so get that on your calendar. Anything else? We will go into closed session, but I will mention that as soon as closed session is over, we'll come back in and just be adjourned, so there won't be any other agenda items. But it's recommended that we go into closed session for a firing, disciplining, or promotion of personnel pursuant to RSMO section 1610.0213, and then lease, purchase, or sale of real estate pursuant to RSMO section 610.0212.
Motion moved to closed door session.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Shears. Tim Carr.
Yes.
Justin Howe.
Yes.
Eric Kern,
Yes.
Patricia Wood.
Yes, we'd like to press Dr. Murders and Keith to stay. Thank you all for.
No, I see, I hear you.
It looks like it's late, doesn't it? Just